What's up, Modiverse? Dr. Dave here. Welcome to the Geek Lounge. On today's video, we're going to be checking out all my pickups from Liverpool Comic Con. Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. We've been off for a few days because we did attend Liverpool Comic Con this past weekend. We actually got back late last night. We thoroughly enjoyed ourselves. I just didn't get a lot of footage because my original intention was to do a Funko Pop hunt at the con, but to be perfectly honest with you guys, the 2 or 3 really cool stores were the exact same ones at MCM Comic Con London just 3 weeks ago. And I just felt it would be cheating you guys by rehashing the same content. I mean, I could have put this footage up from Persona Toys, I think that's what they were called anyway. The exact same store, as I mentioned, that were at MCM London. They had a really cool Grail case, but again, it was the exact same Funko Pops that we had seen just 3 weeks ago. And maybe it would have been different if MCM was like 3 months ago, but just 3 weeks ago, like I said, I felt I would have been cheating you guys by rehashing content. They did have one new figure. I sadly didn't take any footage of it. It was the new Spike Spiegel from the newest wave of the Cowboy Bebop Funko Pops, but they were selling it for £30. I actually have the 4-pack on pre-order with the Walmart exclusive sticker for £60, so I definitely wasn't going to be picking that up. One figure I did pick up from them though was the Chalice Collectibles exclusive Crollo from Hunter x Hunter. Let me just take it out of the protector for you guys because we are getting some massive glare. I have started watching Hunter x Hunter, what, a month ago? I think I'm around 50 or so episodes in now. Greed Island, I think that is the arc I am on now, the Greed Island arc. So I have seen Crollo in action. As I said, this is the Chalice Collectibles, exclusive, if you guys did want to see the back there. I think those are the figures from the first wave. I think I do only have Gon. You know what, I think I do only have Gon actually, because the Killuas I've got are different versions. But yeah, it is a really cool figure. I paid £50 for it. You guys probably saw that with the price tag on the front of the protector. And that is what it is going for on TPD. I did check eBay, and yeah, I think the cheapest one from a UK seller was £60, I think. So I thought, you know what, let's grab it. They had like 3 in the case. This one seemed to be the one in the best condition, pretty much near mint, with the sticker as well, quite like central. The other 2 were like a bit off. I said to the girl, I apologize for being a little bit picky, but yeah, very cool figure. I love how they've got the earrings there. The cross on his head, he is of course holding that book where he like stores all of the powers that he's stolen and things like that. He has just disappeared, like the character has just disappeared with the previous arc that I've watched. I hope he comes back because I've got a lot of unanswered questions about who he is, what he is, why he is. But yeah, I do know Hunter x Hunter is not particularly long, and the creator is now finally getting back to the manga and whatnot, so we've got a lot more to look forward to, I hope, for many years to come, because I'm already thoroughly enjoying the show, and like I said, I'm only, I think, around 50 episodes in. And if truth be told, there were like 2 or 3 other stores that did have some grails and maybe some like higher end or mid-end exclusives as well, but the way they were like set up, it was very difficult to film, and it was actually very difficult to see them. Let me kind of explain it for you guys. So you guys can see my backdrop here, or like, I guess half a backdrop because we do have the mirror on the other side, but imagine that's like the full backdrop, right? The same at the Comic-Con. And if like I'm standing here and I'm selling stuff and whatnot, you guys can't really see, you know, here what's behind me and things, right? That's actually how it was at the con. But then they have like their tables up here, and they've then got like the common pops and things like that, the ones that sell for anywhere from like 8 to 15 quid, right? They have those on the table, which is fair enough, but then sometimes they've got like these other designs which are like kind of stacked up to here. And so imagine that again, if you've got like something stacked here, you can't really see any of the stuff going down there. I mean, you guys can't see. I've still got, where are you up to? Like here? Yeah, there's still like another 4 sets of Funko Pops going down that you guys can't see because it's the way I've got the shot set up. And that's actually how it was at the con. And they're like quite far back as well, so they're difficult to see. And yeah, it's difficult to film like that because the stores are already busy. People are looking at stuff. You've got like the vendor like standing there, so it's a bit awkward. So there were a few other things I could have filmed, but I always kind of wonder, can these vendors do something a little bit better? I get it, you know, the grails, the higher end stuff, the more expensive stuff, they don't want like right there at the table where everyone's got their grubby hands on them, and it, you know, is going to cause damage for like potential like loss, or even a loss of sale, right? Not just loss of value, loss of sale potentially. So I do get that. But I still wonder if they could do things a little bit better, especially having these like designs. I get it, they're trying to draw people to their table, but when you have these big sort of over elaborate designs on your table of things, you can't see what's behind, which is the more expensive stuff. Again, maybe that's what they intend. Do they, you know, get more sales just from the common things that are there? When I go to a Comic Con, for me personally, I'm not looking, firstly, I pretty much go for the autograph signatures, whatever you want to call it, and to meet guests and whatnot, but I am always on the lookout for new pops, figures, whatever, right? And so particularly for pops, when I go to a Comic Con, I'm not looking for the commons that I can get in the store every single day, because firstly, I know they're going to be cheaper in the store or online, because Comic Con, you always typically have maybe like a 5 to 10% rise. I mean, that's what I've seen anyway, unless it's maybe like someone like Forbidden Planet or whatnot, who actually have a store at the con where they do sell for retail. Everyone else typically sells for a little bit more, which, you know, it's perfectly understandable, especially for independent retailers and whatnot. But like I said, I'm going there to see the more higher end stuff, and when you can't really see it because people are in the way, or there's elaborate designs or whatever, then, you know, you miss stuff. Because I might have some things in my head where I'm like, oh, I'm going to look out for that, see if anyone's got that. But sometimes you see things and you're like, oh, you know what, I could get, like Travis Bickle from Taxi Driver. I always completely forget about this pop, and I think I did see it at MCM London one time, and I was like, oh, maybe, but I think the price was just a little bit too high with what I wanted to pay. But that's the thing, when I go to these cons, I mean, that's what I want to see. I want to see these higher end things, not just to get footage, but I am looking to buy some sometimes. So I don't know, let me know what you guys think when you go to these cons and you kind of see these designs and they're always at the back and they're harder to see and whatnot. Does it frustrate you, or do you not really care, or do you really just go and grab like the commons and things? I guess that's like going to be the case for families and whatnot. They're not going to go there to spend money on like 100 quid plus on a pop, right? Yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. Anyways, guys, let's move on because I rambled far too much about that. As I said, I typically go to cons to meet guests and get my Funko Pop signed, autographed, whatever you want to call it. And the first one that I did get, the first guest that I met, was Charlie Hunnam. I'm a big fan of Sons of Anarchy. Jax Teller, an awesome character, and I'm a big fan of Charlie Hunnam and his work as well. I queued for quite a long time, quite a few hours. I'm going to get more onto that and like the pros and cons of the con towards the end of the video. But yeah, I got my Jax Teller signed, as you guys can see there, red pen by Charlie Hunnam. He also did the Anarchy symbol there on the side. I didn't even ask for that. The only sad thing is, and the reason I didn't actually get this like authenticated, my Jax Teller pop does have a bit of damage. I don't know if you guys can see it there. I mean, there is some on the bottom as well, which isn't too bad because you don't really see that too much. But yeah, I just didn't have time, or at least I couldn't find a better one before I, you know, went to the con to get this signed. So it is what it is. I'm still really happy to get it. As I said, I'm a big fan of Sons of Anarchy. It's without question one of my favourite TV shows of all time. Really happy to meet Charlie Hunnam as well. Super guy. As I said, I queued for a very long time. Once we got up there, that was a funny thing. I got up to the front and then he was like, look, I really need a 5-minute break because I have to pee. It's either that or I pee myself. And it was like, yeah, fair enough. You know, go off and do your business. It took a little bit longer though, so I don't know if he went for a pee, but we're not going to get into that. When he did come back, yeah, we had a nice chat. I asked him, like, what are these, like, rumours and things about, like, Jax Teller potentially coming back, and he said, like, it's not necessarily that he's going to be coming back, but he has this creative idea to, like, bring all the boys back. But yeah, he said, that's all I'm going to say, you know, stay tuned for that, you know, watch this space, things like that. So I'm very much looking forward to that. It's very, very cool. He then did ask us, hey, where are you guys from, and yada yada, and then the security guy was like, all right guys, it's time to like move on, because the line was very busy. Again, I'm going to get more into that in a little bit. And yeah, just a super cool dude, couple of fist bumps. You know, I saw him being very nice to other guests as well. Super guy, so happy to meet him. And like I said, get my Jax Teller Funko Pop signed. And then pretty much all of the queuing, except for the last guest, went pretty quickly. So the next guest I did actually see was Kathryn Winnick, who of course plays Lagertha on Vikings. I still actually haven't finished the show. I think we've got maybe 2 more seasons to go. But yeah, we got the Funko Pop here, Lagertha. I've had this for quite a while. I actually had to go into my loft to dish out the box because I've had, it was the same with Jax Teller and Opie, which we'll get to next. I actually had to dish these out of the loft, to be perfectly honest, because I do have them displayed on another shelf that you guys probably never see, but they're now going back into their boxes as we have it signed. I don't know if you guys can tell as well, the window on this one It's actually come unstuck a bit, so I need to kind of sort that out. You should actually say I did actually get this one authenticated as well, because it is quite a valuable pop now, and especially with the signature, it does go hand in hand. If you guys did want to see, there are the other characters on the back. I do actually have all of them except for the, what was his name? The Seer. I actually have the other 4, but I don't have the Seer. Kathryn was very cool. I think she was only one of the only guests that had a like window up. I guess like it's understandable for COVID and whatnot, especially if you've travelled from like the US or Canada. Well, pretty much anywhere from overseas, right? You don't want to get sick and whatnot. I get it. I think James Masters also had like his own room with and you had to wear a mask for him. I think he was the only one doing that, but again, it's understandable, especially if they've got like underlying health issues or anything like that. But yeah, guys, there is my Lagertha pop that I did get signed. She was very cool, very nice. Didn't really speak to her too much, to be perfectly honest. I feel that scream was a little bit awkward. I maybe could have got a quote as well had I been a little bit more assertive with the guests, but yeah, still really cool. Very happy to have got that signed, and we'll be definitely finishing up the series sooner rather than later. And I just mentioned him, guys, we did also meet Ryan Hurst, who plays Opie Winston from Sons of Anarchy, so I did get my Opie pop signed. Meeting him was a little bit weird though. I mean, firstly, he's lost a ton of weight since the Walking Dead. I think that was the last thing I saw him in. He played Beta. Certainly lost weight since playing Opie in Sons of Anarchy. But he, yeah, he didn't really talk much. So I kind of asked him, does he miss Sons of Anarchy? He went, nope. I said, do you miss The Walking Dead? He went, nope. And then I was like, okay, what are you doing next? And he just pointed to the thing on the desk. I can't even remember what it was, to be perfectly honest. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, nice meeting, Ryan. Big smile. I was like, nice meeting you too. And that was really our only interaction. I don't know if I caught him at a bad time, if maybe like loads of people had asked him the exact same questions. I'm not too sure, but it was still cool to meet him nonetheless. Loved Opie as a character and really happy to have got this Funko Pop signed as well. And the final guest I met on the Saturday, guys, was Giancarlo Esposito, and I got him to sign my Mandalorian Moff Gideon Funko Pop. Again, a pretty cool dude. He was like dressed as Gus Fring, and they had this whole Los Pollos Hermanos. I wish I actually took a picture of it, but I didn't. Like, they had this whole set, and you could, I don't know if you could take selfies with him or something, if it was like additional or something like that. But like, he was standing behind the counter, and that's how they did his signings. I thought it was very cool, but there was still like this intimidation about him, like being Gus Fring. It's almost like he was in character, and I was like a little bit intimidated, if I'm being honest. But he was still very cool, very nice. I sort of just spoke about saying that I, you know, I've loved all his work for all, like, throughout his whole career. Even going back to like The Usual Suspects, one of my favourite movies of all time, and he does play like he's like a kind of semi-ish character. I don't know, that's probably a much better term than that. I wouldn't say he's necessarily minor, but he's not a major character in the movie either. And yeah, he just said, oh, thank you for watching everything I've ever done, I appreciate it. And yeah, a very cool guy. The only thing with his was that he was late on the Saturday due to like some travel arrangements. Not very late, but like maybe by like an hour. And he actually had to cancel on the Sunday for like work commitments, or something came up for work, so he actually had to cancel for Sunday. So he was only there on the Saturday, and luckily I had booked my ticket for the Saturday. But there were some people who booked theirs for the Sunday and got disappointed. But I'm going to actually get into a bit more on that, like I said, in a little bit, about the pros and cons of the con. And then moving on to the Sunday, guys, I got another 4 Funko Pop signed. The first guest I met in the morning was Sam Witwer, who voices Darth Maul in a whole bunch of things. Clone Wars, Rebels. He does a lot of the Darth Maul voices in Lego. I'm sure there are other things that I'm missing out. Video games as well. Actually, he was Starkiller in the Force Unleashed video games, and he was also, I don't actually know the character's name, Days Gone. I actually haven't played it yet. When I actually first saw that trailer though, when it was first announced, I thought this game looks like, this is the most mind-boggling, like insane trailer I've ever seen with all those zombies. I think the game like got mixed reviews in the end. I still haven't played it though, but yeah, I got my Darth Maul with the Darksaber. You guys may not be able to see it there with the reflection off of the hard stack. By the way, all these hard stacks are the new Pop Figures hard stacks. I may as well go with a little shameless plug. I do get all my hard stacks, magnetic hard stacks, from popfigures.com, and we do actually have an affiliate link with them in the description below. If you go and make a purchase using that affiliate link, you will get £10 towards your next order. We also get £10 towards our next order as well. But there we go, guys. Sam Witwer signed Darth Maul. Again, another really cool guy. An interesting thing to note was that in the Star Wars Lego, if anyone's ever seen it, it's one of the things that just makes me laugh so much when the when Darth Maul first comes back in the Star Wars Lego, and he does this whole you know, with it like the Jewel of Fate's song, but he's like, awesome. Well, let me just play a little clip for you guys because it'll be a little bit better than I can do. Awesome and handsome, awesome. And he actually said that was ad-libbed, so it's very cool. I find it very funny. But yeah, like I said, guys, super cool dude. And there it is, the signed Darth Maul pop by Sam Witwer. And the next two Funko Pops I got signed were from anime actresses. We have Emily Neves signing Eri, and we have Dawn M. Bennett signing Frosh from Fairy Tail. So first up, My Hero Academia Eri. These people aren't going to give up, not until I'm safe. Signed by Emily Neves there. I'm actually struggling here holding these two. Let me show that off to you guys. Very cool. Again, I always find it's really cool meeting anime actors and actresses. You typically get a bit more time with them than some of the other guests, and yeah, you can just ask them any questions. They're always super nice people. I said to Emily that I hope Eri does restore All Might, even if it's for like one fight scene. And she said that would be super cool. I hope it's something that does come. I haven't actually watched any of the new series just yet. I'm going to wait till it all comes out and like binge watch it all. That's typically what I always do. I think Attack on Titan is the only show that I've actually watched every week, because I hate that to be continued screen at the end. Although, now that I'm thinking about it, if I hate it, maybe I should binge watch it all. Anyways, like I said, I then met Dawn M. Bennett, who voices Frosh. These two ladies obviously do a whole bunch of other characters, but these are the two characters that well, tell a lie actually, I haven't got to Frosh yet in Fairy Tail. I'm taking Fairy Tail quite slowly. I think I'm only about 40 episodes in at the moment, and I think, like Dawn told me, she thinks Frosh comes in around episode 150. So yeah, I've still got quite a ways to go, but yeah, Frosh thinks so too, signed by Dawn M. Bennett, with the pink and the green as well. You always get quotes from the anime actors and actresses because they have a lot more time, and they typically always bring the pens. They always know where to sign as well, because whenever I take my pops to Comic Con, guys, I actually take the pop out, take the plastic, I was about to say sleeve, it's not a sleeve, like inlay. I'm sure there's a more correct term for it. I take that out and I actually flatten the pop and pop it in like a binder. Carry type thing. Again, I'm sure there's a more technical term for it. One of these, whatever these things are called that you like separate. So I flatten everything and take it in there, and yeah, it's just easier to carry. You can take a lot more with you rather than having all of these pops in your bag, in your suitcase, whatever. Just have to be a little bit careful, of course, with the paint pens and whatnot. But yeah, she was also super cool, and yeah, I just love the differences in colour that these actresses and actors do for voice. Like voice-over actors and actresses for animes. Loving my anime as well. Can't wait to meet some more guests. And the final guest I met in Funko Pop I got signed was Dustin from Stranger Things. I am, of course, talking about Gaten Materazzo. I did also get the Monopoly Events authentication sticker as well, considering he was pricey. I didn't actually mention Kathryn Winnick was the most expensive guest for the whole con, which I thought was a little bit strange, because there are quite a few who are like a bit more famous than her. Like, nothing against her or anything like that, but people more popular, maybe more popular is probably a better term. But yeah, the shame with Gaten's line is that it moved just like super. It was so busy, they moved it super quickly. He was arguably the most popular guest at the con. They did have the Salvatore brothers from Vampire Diaries. I've never seen it, but Ian Somerhalder and Paul Wesley, I think I am pronouncing their names correctly. Like I said, I've never seen Vampire Diaries. I know Ian Somerhalder from Lost, of course, but they were also very popular. Obviously, Charlie Hunnam was super popular as well. But yeah, Dustin, one of the most popular. When he came back, because we were in the queue for quite, nowhere near as long as Charlie Hunnam, but we were in the queue for quite a bit. And then when he came back, these people were just like trying to crowd in, even though they didn't have tickets, and like taking pictures, like, you know, trying to go over all the crowds, people with their selfie sticks and everything, just trying to get a shot of him. It was like madness. But they moved the queue along so quickly that you know, you couldn't do any selfies with him. You couldn't really have a like deep conversation or anything with him, which a little bit disappointing, but I get it. You know, people have paid you know, their money to get, you know, their autographs and whatnot, so they had to move the line along pretty quickly. The one question I did ask him is if they got any royalties for these thinking caps, and he said, you know what, I don't think we did. But he seemed super cool. He was high-fiving a lot of the kids, although I kind of think Stranger Things is not quite for kids, you know. But anyways, he didn't say too much. But the funny thing is, when we then came out of the line, this other gentleman approached us, an American gentleman, and he said, I wish we signed a royalties deal for these thinking caps too. And I was like, well, it is like a fashion statement. And then we actually had a longer conversation with this guy, and he was going on about, the Duffer Brothers, it's amazing how they like foresee things. And of course he mentioned like the Hellfire Club shirts are just like phenomenal sales and things like that. And yeah, we had a chat with him for about 2-3 minutes, and then he said, thanks for coming out, guys, have a good day, blah blah blah. And we kind of thought I was like a relative, maybe a member of his management team, whatever. And we're now pretty sure it was actually Gaten's father, Gaten Materazzo Sr. From the pictures we've kind of, like, there's not much info about him online or whatever, but the like limited info we could find, we're pretty sure it was actually his father. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, guys, Gaten, like I said, from what I saw, high-fiving the kids, doing what he could, like even with the line moving very, very fast. Was still really cool to meet him and get my Dustin Funko Pop signed. And just for some final thoughts, guys, if you are still here with me, like the pros and cons of the con, like to go through the cons first, because I always want to get the negativity out the way first. The one biggest thing that I thought and got a little bit annoyed about was the queuing at the beginning of Saturday. So, like the queue was just massive, right? And this is the 9 AM priority entry ticket. So we queued for a long time, and we actually didn't get into the venue till 9. It was like 9:42 maybe. And I'm like, paid a priority entry ticket, and we're getting in 42 minutes after that time. And there was like thousands of people behind us. So there are some people who probably didn't get into like 10:30, and the standard entry ticket is 11 o'clock. So in my opinion, if you're paying for a priority entry ticket, I'm not saying you need to get in dead at 9 o'clock. That's impossible to get thousands of people. I think the event was attended by over 13,000 people from what I read on the Saturday. But I don't know what happened, whether they just started letting in people a bit late. I just do feel if you've paid for that priority entry ticket, to get in like an hour after that time, that's a little bit poor in my opinion. But again, I don't really know what happened. I get it, again, if you've got thousands of people attending, you literally open the doors at 9, not everyone's going to get in dead on 9. I get that, I do. But when you've paid a priority entry ticket and you're only getting in an hour or even half an hour, 40 minutes before the standard entry tickets, there's something a little bit wrong there. The second thing that I would say was disappointing and certainly needs improving on is the queuing for the more popular guests. Charlie Hunnam, Gaten Materazzo, Giancarlo Esposito. I think, yeah, Ian, well, actually I can't really talk too much about the Salvatore brothers from the Vampire Diaries because I actually never saw them. They were in like a different location in the con, so I never actually know what happened too much there. But certainly those other 3 guests, they could have done a little bit better, to be perfectly honest. So what they did maybe a week or 2 before the con actually happened was they sent out emails to everyone to say book your time slots for both like photos and autographs. But the autograph time slots, they were just irrelevant. It didn't work at all. So I went up first thing when I got into the con, like I said, at like what, 9:42 I think I said. I think that's what it was. It was like 9:41, 9:42. I made a beeline for Charlie Hunnam. I'd actually booked my my ticket for the 11th, I think it was 11:30 to 11:50 AM time slot. And I jumped in the queue because I was like, well, I've not really got too much else to do. I don't really want to miss him. He's like my major guest for the weekend, and we know it was sold out. They'd already mentioned his Saturday's time slots were sold out. So I made a beeline for him, like I said. And I then asked a woman there, I said, look, what's the deal with the time slots and things? Like, should I queue up now? Should I come back? And she was like, to be honest, they're like irrelevant. Like, just queue up, like go for it. And you know, especially if it's a popular guest, you be aware that they're going to have photo shoots and panels and things, but you can queue up whenever you want. And I was like, what the hell was the point in booking a time slot then, to be perfectly honest? So anyway, Charlie then disappeared from like pretty much 10 o'clock to 11:30. So I was standing there for an hour and a half. He then did come back. I think it was more like 11:40 when he came back. Probably had a little break after the photo shoots. I think they were doing like the Sons of Anarchy photo shoots with Ryan Hurst. I think it's was it Emiliano Alvarez? Fernandez. I think Alvarez is his character name. Also in the founder of the Mayans. I think they did like a group photo shoot as well, and then he probably did some single photo shoots and whatnot. So he came back around 11:40, but it was still a good hour or so. I feel I was in the queue for like more than 3 hours to see him. I think we saw him sometime after maybe like 1. And I had my time slot booked for 11:30 to 11:50 for like the autograph. So you're like, yeah, the whole thing was just a little bit weird. There was a family standing behind us. There was like a little kid. Again, a kid. I mean, come on. Sons of Anarchy is a pretty violent, like horrific show. I don't know why there was a kid in there, but he had a pretty cool, I don't know why I'm doing that. You guys can't see my other hand. Like cool cosplay outfit, the whole thing with his cut on and everything. But it was like a family, and they'd been standing there for a good couple of hours. And finally some people started coming around saying, guys, has everyone got their prepaid tickets? Is everyone here prepaid? Yada, yada, yada. And like they were like, no, we were hoping we could get a thing at the table. I'm sorry, it's sold out. And like they've been standing there for hours. And it's like, I get that, you know, to an extent you should know, right? But families, maybe they don't follow social media as much. They don't look at things as much. They're there for like a family day out and whatever. And they feel, you know, we could just meet him or whatever. And the same actually happened in Gaten Materazzo's line with these two girls who wanted to meet him, dressed up as like Hawkins cheerleaders. And they were like, I'm sorry, the thing is sold out. Like you may be able to come back right at the end of the day if there is any like time left over. But whether that happened, I'm not entirely sure. So I just feel like someone could have been mentioning that at the beginning. They could have put some sign up to say these tickets are all sold out, because it did waste some people's time. Like I said, I just feel it could have been managed a bit more. The other thing is, there was a bit of an argument in Charlie Hunnam's queue as well, because all of us in the standard entry line, we'd been there for quite a few hours, and then just as he was coming back, like the diamond entry line just filled up with about 20 or 30 people. Now, diamond entry you're essentially paying for the privilege to skip the queue. That's essentially what it is. You still need to buy an entry ticket. You still need to buy an autograph or a photo ticket as well. It's just the fact that if you're going to get loads of autos, loads of photos and whatever, you can plan your day a bit more. You got a bit more time because you can jump to the front of the queue. But then the people in the standard entry were like, we've been waiting here for 3 hours. These guys have just literally come. And like a few people were getting quite annoyed at the front. There was still like about 30 or 40 people in front of us, but you could still kind of overhear it. Well, maybe not overhear it, but you see a lot of like animation and people getting antsy and whatever. I think there was a guy in the diamond entry as well who had been, like, he had a slot booked for like 9:30 or whatever, and they told him to come back and you could queue in the diamond entry line. I mean, it was just a little bit chaotic, a little bit unorganized, to be perfectly honest. I think the organization could have been a bit better, you know, for these more popular guests. Maybe they did learn their lessons the following day, because Gaten's line, to be fair, did move like very, very quickly once he came back from whether it was photo shoots break or whatever. But yeah, Charlie Hunnam's line still moved pretty slowly. What they did in the end was they were doing 10 from the priority lane and then 5 from the standard lane, 10, 5, 10, 5. You know, like that, which I thought was a pretty good like compromise. But then I started thinking, if you paid for like the diamond entry thing and then you're watching like 5 standard people getting ahead of you, are you not going to be a bit peed off then, because you've paid that money to skip the queue? It's just one of those things. I don't know. I think they they just need to do something a bit better with managing those standard lines. Someone should maybe be there for the more popular guests. Certainly the guests that are already sold out. Someone should just be there to say, hey, this is what's going on. Can you control those time slots anymore? What's the purpose of the time slots for the autographs if they're not even going to mean anything? It just seems all a bit weird. There was also Giancarlo Esposito's line. So as I mentioned earlier, he actually had to cancel his Sunday appearance for work commitments, or something that came up, whatever it was. He was also a little bit late on the Saturday due to pardon me, his travel arrangements. So he actually got to the con, I think, around 10 a.m. And then what they said was that everyone was going to be refunded Sunday tickets, and they couldn't, you know, Saturday was sold out, so they couldn't like transfer the ticket or anything like that. Apologies, it's just the way it is. And that's fair enough. Sometimes it is the way it is. Guests are going to cancel. Guests are going to have family emergencies, work commitments, and things that do take them away from their con appearances. It is what it is. If you've been going to cons for a long time, you know that will happen. But the weird thing is that I went to Giancarlo Esposito maybe an hour before my time slot. I'm trying to think the time it was. I think it was about 1:45, maybe 2. I had mine booked, I think, for 2:45. There was no one there. The only people at the table, well, there was like 5 or 6 people at the table, and it looked like they were buying tickets. And then some, like the con woman came, like staff member, and said, do you want to come in? Pardon me, have you pre-booked? And I was like, yeah, all right, come forward. And like I went straight, there was no one else there. And then when I spoke to someone on the Sunday, they were like, oh, I had my Sunday ticket booked. And I told him the story. I was like, seriously? Like, what's going on there? So I don't know what happened. Whether they were just moving Giancarlo's line fast anyway, just for that particular reason, I'm not too sure. But I just felt things were a little bit disorganized for those popular guests. It could have been a little bit better in my opinion. But other than that, you know what? Like the pros, you know, I had a great time. Meeting the guests was still pretty cool. They had some awesome like props and photo opportunities and things like that. Stranger things like the couch and the lights. A bunch of different vehicles. The Ecto 1, I did get a picture of that. There were tons of really cool cosplayers. We got a picture, there it is, with a bunch of Star Wars cosplayers. I think they were part of, I can't remember their name. It's like a famous cosplaying group. Although, that guy there, is that not Lieutenant Price? Is it Captain Price? Lieutenant Price from Call of Duty? I don't think he's got anything to do with Star Wars, right? At least, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's who I thought that was. But yeah, great guest list. Like I said, I had a fun time. Even though I did a lot of queuing throughout the weekend, I still had a lot more time. I could have taken more footage. I could have done a Funko Pop hunt, like I said, but I felt, as I've already said 2 or 3 times, it would have been cheating you guys and would have just been rehashing content from a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, really, really cool. They've announced the dates already for next year, April 1st and 2nd, I think, 2023. Most annoyingly, the week before Star Wars Celebrations, which is in London. We already have tickets for that. So I'm like umming and ahhing, shall I go? Like, it's going to be in a very expensive month if I do go, but at the same time, today they are announcing their first guest at 7 p.m. GMT, and it seems it is going to be a Stranger Things actors. Will it be actor or actress, actually, I should say? Will it be Gaten Materazzo again? Will it be someone else? I guess we will find out at 7 p.m. But alas, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. So first and foremost, thank you so much for taking a little bit of time out of your day to spend with me here on the Geek Lounge. It is very much appreciated, and I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If so, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Drop some comments below. Did you guys attend Liverpool Comic Con? And if so, did you enjoy yourselves? And as always, we've got plenty more content on the way for you guys. I did actually do a Funko Pop hunt in the city of Liverpool, so that video will be dropping tomorrow. I've got more Funko Pops to unbox, to open up. I've got to catch up on a whole bunch of parcels. We've got more mystery boxes due in, Naruto Kaiju unboxings. We've got a bunch of Star Wars stuff still to show off, so plenty of content to come. Make sure you guys stay tuned for all of it and more. What is the easiest way to stay tuned, you ask? Very simple. Subscribe. Hit, click, smash that subscribe button and enable those notifications so you don't miss out on any of that future content. Guys, thanks again for watching today's video, and we will see you on the next one. Peace out, nerds.